If
Right.
you were to take this away from me, my life would be almost meaningless.
Yeah. We can't touch that. Don't touch that. No, I'm sorry. You've got to be willing to tell people the truth.
All right, so this is going to be an intense video, one that we actually thought about not making because it's risky. Frankly, it's kind of risky.
Yeah.
To go where we're about to go in regards to people needing to lose weight.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of the show 600 Pound Life, and we got people, that are really in a tough place with their weight. Because we did the talk the other day and Jillian Michaels came up and she's like, there seems to be a difference. I think she said there's a difference between somebody that's got a dad bod and somebody that needs to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds. She said there, in her opinion, it was like there is a mental issue going on here. So at some place, are there significant changes, but differences between somebody that needs to lose 20 pounds and somebody 50 or 100 pounds or 200 pounds?
Right, exactly. And when you get into the larger amounts of weight needing to be lost, oftentimes we've seen and heard people come to you in groups or online and leaving comments and saying, this is more significant, Trainer Joe, than you're even recognizing in your videos. For me,
right.
I am this situation.
You don't get it.
You don't get it, Trainer Joe. I'm this situation where food is everything to me.
Yeah.
And if you were to take this, it's not just, tweaking certain things and taking away a little bit here and there. If you were to take this away from me, my life would be almost meaningless.
Yeah. That's kind of what we want to talk about. And it's like 600 Pound Life. These folks, some of them aren't talked about because they don't have the hope to even be on the show, right? And then there are those that are on the show that are saying, I want this surgery done because I don't want to be like this. Nobody wants, I don't think, to be like that. But you've got to have some inclination. I want hope for me. Mm-hmm. I want to get better. So those are the ones on this show that even some of them are like, I don't have what it's going to take to do it. So how do you speak to that? How do you encourage somebody in that? Because even on the show, Dr. Now's trying to help them, and they weigh, let's say, 750 pounds, and they start helping, and he gives them a diet, and he just says, go do it, and he has a conversation with them, and it's nothing overly psychological at that point. But then if he's trying to help them, and they're breaking down, and they're crying, I tried, Dr. Now, I couldn't do it, I did my best. Sometimes he will send them for therapy. Mm-hmm. You need to go to this person, and they help them psychologically. And let me admit here that there are situations, there are people that comment on my page or talk to me, and I don't feel qualified to help them. There are times where that's the case, and they need different kind of care, different professional help, a professional counselor, somebody at a hotline or somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So we don't pretend to have all of your answers when you're dealing with this. But I do like to offer some encouragement even when it seems like it might be way down the road.
Right. So we're more or less addressing the extreme cases here in this video.
Yes.
Again, the ones that it's not the dad bod necessarily.
Right. It's I have an example. Used to play football at UK was Jared Lorenzen. Mm-hmm. And he struggled with his weight in college, playing college football, went on to play for the New York Giants, struggled with his weight there. They said when he was at UK, they had him rooming with the trainer to help him keep his weight down. And they jokingly said, and the trainer gained 20 pounds, the person that's supposed to help him. And he struggled with it. I got to meet Jared at one time. Neatest, nicest guy. When I met him, he was close to 500 pounds. Wow, and he ended up doing this program, It was like a project where he was going around and he was trying to encourage people while he was getting help himself. Tragically, he did end up passing away. And I'm sure most would say it was in some way related to his weight. So he was one of those examples. Just had resources, had people in his life that cared about him, that loved him. He was an athlete, and he passed away way severely morbidly obese. What do you say to somebody in his situation? What do you say to somebody in a situation that has several hundred pounds to lose? Do you have anything to share? Do you just say, go get therapy, go get help? Because I do feel like there is hope.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Someone in that camp that food is obviously, if you want to call it, an addiction, an idol in their life. They can't get past it because of how huge food is. If you were to not take away food, you're not taking away all the food,
Right.
but if you were to reduce their intake
And
or
only
take
give
away
them a limited amount to eat.
take away certain things that they just love, their life kind of feels not just mundane but almost meaningless.
Right.
Is that fair to say? Like, so in that case, so my question to you is, you take someone like that, an extreme case, we'll call it,
Yeah.
if they were just to come through like anyone else and do a normal 21-day, Trainer Joe 21-day transformation, are they too outside of the norm to succeed?
Right. That's interesting.
More? Would they need more?
That is a great question, because I wonder even if we were to ask folks in my program now, because I've shared a couple of testimonies we've had recently. First time in my life I'm feeling this good. I can do this. I'm at this weight. I haven't been here in 20 years. So we get testimonies like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean they were in that dire of a situation.
Sure.
And so I think it's rare, and I think there are a lot of people in that situation and that aren't going to want to go there. They're like, if food is this meaningful to me, they have to get to the place where they say, and I'm willing to give that up. You're going to have to get, if I'm addicted to something, and some people don't like the comparisons, but I think they're fair. If I'm addicted to smoking, and I'm like, I really enjoy this, and I know it's not good for me, but I like it. I like it. I know I shouldn't do it. I know it's probably damaging me, but I like it. I don't want to quit it. You have to get to where, even though you recognize the enjoyment of it, that you're willing to quit it. That you're willing to give up something that you may feel like is one of the reasons I enjoy my life. Right? This is a lot of the reason I enjoy waking up every morning. It's because I get to smoke these cigarettes. It's because I get to do this thing. It's because I get to go to the casino. It's because I get to eat what I want to eat. It's because I know I'm going to get something later today that makes my life meaningful. There has to be something in you that recognizes that and is willing to say, I'm willing to let that go.
So what, in your mind, then, what hope is there for that person? Because I think of, like, for me, I like Reese's, and I'll eat them in the evening. And it would make me kind of sad if I were to just be like, no, I can't have those Reese's anymore. But
Right.
that's, I'm not someone struggling with my weight. If I were, I'd make some.
Poor Paul.
If I wanted to lose 50 pounds, I'd make some tweaks. I'd maybe switch those to something a little healthier, a little lower calorie, eat less, whatever. But then you take it to someone who's more of this extreme example,
Right.
where it's not just cutting the Reese's, taking a few of the Reese's at night, but
Right.
it's changing everything.
Yeah.
What hope is there for them?
And I'd go back to Jared Lorenzen. He was making obviously good money on the Giants as a quarterback. I think they won the Super Bowl while he was on the team. He wasn't the starting quarterback, but he made good money. He's got a Super Bowl ring. Why didn't he figure this out? And that's what a lot of people are like, why can't he figure this out? Zion Williamson, professional basketball player. Who's he play for now?
I think he's still on the Pelicans.
Is he even playing now? He gained a lot of weight. They were trying to help him. He couldn't get it
Many
together.
consider him a bust, even though, because he came into the league as one of the...
And if we were to put one reason on why he's a bust, what would it be?
He couldn't lose. He
couldn't lose his weight.
Get down to a good...
They paid him $1 trillion. He was worth as much as Apple. And he couldn't figure out how to lose the weight. No, that's an exaggeration. But he has a lot of money, and that's not enough for him to say, you know what, I'm going to use my resources. I'm going to use everything that's provided to me to help me lose weight. Everything. Do you think they didn't provide anything he needed? Counselors?
Oh man, they were
Coaches?
begging him. They were begging him.
Begging him. Money, 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 and it ain't happening. If he can't do it, why would I over here think I can do it? And then when do you? Because I'm like, okay, my job description is not to tell you you can't do it. Who should you say that to? Who should I say that comes to me whether they're 500 pounds or 800 pounds or need to lose 20 pounds, when should I say, this won't work for you? Whatever plan it is, even my plan, but some are not going to be willing to do it. There has to be, from my perspective, there has to be this, it's kind of like a pilot light. If you're going to light that fire, there better be a pilot light. There better be this life in you that is willing to, boom, then grow into something. It's like, it can't be total darkness. And that's maybe not a good way to look at it, but you've got to have something in you that wants to live in a way that is fruitful and abundant, and that you can do things that it's not just about your next meal.
That's good. Well, something that just went through my mind, I'm listening to an audiobook right now from like a tennis coach, and he's talking about these people that grow up and they feel hopeless, and then they have one conversation where someone says something to them. Maybe they're in, where do the youth go when they've committed crimes, like detention, whatever. And one of the counselors says one line and it changes the whole trajectory of their life.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be people that watch this video that maybe aren't quite there where the light is on, the pilot light, but they're curious and they kind of wish they were, but they're not quite. I would say, and I hope this for you, one line from this video stands out to you. Or maybe you're like, that was interesting. I'm going to watch another one of Trainer Joe's videos, and one line hits you and you're like, okay, that's what I needed.
You would hope.
You know what I mean?
You would hope that, and I think that does happen. But you can get cynical. You can get cynical. And we've done videos here before, and I remember saying, at some point, you might just want to cry out to God, right? Because it's like, obviously somebody that's not a person of faith, not a believer, is going to say, just go get help, professional help. I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm for that. At some level, though, we all are going to have to decide, what do I truly believe? And for those of us that say, I am a Christ follower, I believe in God, then when I'm talking to that person and we're talking about they need to lose 100 or 200 pounds, is it reasonable to say, are you experiencing life in God? Do you have something in you that is helpful to you? And how does it help you? And is it possible that life in you can help you here? And if not, why not? What is in the way? Because as shallow as some might see this, I believe that most people, whether you're wanting to lose 300 pounds or 20 pounds, it comes down to this one word that some are not going to like it, but it's satisfaction, contentment. Can I be satisfied? Can I be content without eating that? Can I be? And I think you give me anybody, and you can diagnose me as overly simplified, whatever, but let's say you're addicted to heroin. Can you be content without it? Well, you can say, well, you got these chemicals, you're going to go through withdrawal, you're going to go through this. Yes, you are. You're going to go through things. It's not going to be pleasant. Will you deal with that unpleasantness? Are you willing to deal with unpleasantness? And I just think that that's huge from somebody that's had my own issues, where I've had to say, you know what? I would rather keep doing this thing that I shouldn't do. You're going to deal with the unpleasantness of leaving that. Whatever it is that's got you, that is stealing from your life, whether it's food, whether it's gambling, whether it's an addiction of any kind that's stealing from you, isn't it coming down to, I'm willing to be uncomfortable for however long so that I can have a better life? And I think it's that way. If I was talking to any person with any addiction, go get help, get professional help, get what you need, but is it not going to come down to that to a large degree?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that just oversimplifying it? I'm not saying you're not going to have to go through things. I'm not saying you might not need therapy, but you know who's not going to get therapy? Somebody that doesn't want to go through it. Do you know who's not going to ask for help? Somebody that doesn't want to go through it. I don't want to give this up. And I realize some people have more. That's why I bring up Zion Williamson. What excuse does he have? What excuse does... Who's the guy that ran for president?
Christie?
Chris Christie. What excuse does he have? He has all the resources you could ever need. Isn't it just coming down to, I want this. I feel like eating it. I feel like I need it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have this. At night I'm going to eat this. Really? Is it really so deep and dark and mysterious that we can't speak to the reason Chris Christie is morbidly obese? Because we can't touch that. Don't touch that. No, I'm sorry. He can decide the help is available. I'm going to go through counseling. I'm going to go to church. You know, we're told in the Bible to be around people. I love Hebrews 10, 24 and 25. 24 and 25. Let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works. We need to stir each other up to do things. And some of us are like, I don't want to be around anybody. Okay, well then you're probably not going to get appropriately stirred and encouraged to do the things you need to do. And so we what's it called? When you pull away, we pull away from camaraderie, community, fellowship, church, and then we're like, I can't figure this out. Well, you got nobody that you talk to. You got nobody you'll listen to. And I'm not saying everybody that has a weight problem. I'm saying anybody that has any problem better be open to truth, to God working in your life. If you don't want anything to do with God, then you go get your professional help, but go get it. Because we always can have an excuse for why we're not doing it. Zion Williamson has his excuses why he's overweight and can't play basketball like he signed on to do because he likes to eat too much. Is that oversimplified? Has he got the obesity gene that he has no hope for him?
Yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun to talk about people that feel hopeless. And, I would say, like, I really want to see it not take a horrible health catastrophe for you to make the decision to go all in. Because
exactly.
You may need to go all in. Would you say they're going to need to go all in?
They need to go in enough to do it. And for some, it's going to feel like all in. And that's the thing. If you don't have anybody in my groups, it's funny. And I tell them, some are going to think you're a little extreme with what you're doing. And it's like, and if nobody thinks you're extreme, you're probably not getting it done. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You do something that's difficult, that's challenging, it's going to look funny to some people.
Especially
they're going to make fun of you.
If you're still in the tribe, if you call it the social settings that you used to be in, you're probably around people that are so used to that. Maybe they're in a similar place as you, needing help with their own weight, and suddenly you start making big life-altering decisions, changing things for the better.
And you're no longer part of that tribe.
You
don't fit in that tribe anymore.
That's another one of the realities. It's just difficult,
Well, here's what some people try to do. Some people want everything to be the same, but they want to lose weight. Mm-hmm. It's like, do you realize your life will be different? Mm-hmm. There's something has to be different over here. But they're like, well, I don't want anything different. Okay, then it's not going to change. You're going to have to be willing for something to be different.
That's good. Trainer Joe, feel good?
It annoys me a little bit that we have to be so careful that somebody's going to say, well, you shouldn't have done that. You're not qualified to do that. It bothers me a little bit. So I am grateful that we have a platform where we get to say what we want to say.
Well, you have the last word. Go.
I guess I'm more grateful when people pay to be in my program because I say things in there that maybe we wouldn't say here. Because I'm like, you paid to be here. It's my program. It's the way we do it. So if you're okay with a little different approach and saying things that might be offensive to some, there's more freedom there. Do you think? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
We're pretty open here, unfiltered here, but you've got to be willing to tell people the truth. And too many platforms, too many places, you got to pull back. You can't because you're at risk. And I understand sometimes there's good reason for that. But you've got to be able to say, here's what's going on with you. You've got to be willing to do some things different than you're doing them. And sometimes you get in trouble for that. That annoys me a little bit. But I'm grateful that we have the platforms we do and that I have a program where we get to say what we want to say.
Fair enough.
For the sake of helping people.
I appreciate you being honest. Comment below, you guys, and let us know if there was a moment in this video where you were like, oh, that resonates with me. It could be a catalyst for change. Or just something you appreciated about this video. But yeah, hopefully the next video will be a little more lighthearted. I tend to enjoy the ones that are a bit more lighthearted, but sometimes you got to just keep it a little more sober because this
is what it is.
Sober in nature.
It's a hard time sometimes. You gotta rise up.
We're for you guys.
Yep.
We're for you guys. Let us know what we can do to help
do
you
it.
all. All right. Until our next video. Trainer Joe, train your brain
And transform your body.